Hello, hello, La Popular Agave Club members. Trevor here. My back behind my bar at my house. Finally, all the construction's done on everything they're working on, so I could hop behind here and do these calls from behind my bar. Obviously, got some my tequila section down here of previous picks, so we're excited to jump into our featured pick this month, which is Tequileno, the Barrel Select Reposado that everyone should have gotten a bottle of. I'm behind. I did not grab my bottle yet, so I am actually tasting from um, the barrel sample. They sent me like five or six barrel samples, and this is the one I chose. So I'll be tasting from this tonight. It's still going to be delicious. I'm super happy with how the pick turned out. Um, as always, we do these virtual calls once a month. They're for our Agave Club members, and it's just a way for us to kind of learn more about the brands that we feature, the history, the production methods, all that fun stuff. So if you are watching from YouTube or Facebook, uh, please get your questions in now. We have a couple great prizes to give away tonight, which I'll get into in a second. But make sure that when you're asking your questions, if the account you're asking the question on is not the same name as your membership account, just clarify, hey, this is Trevor La Popular Claremont. I'm a member. Here's my question. That way we make sure we can get it to the right person for those that win the prizes, and go from there. A couple club announcements. We have a lot of exciting stuff, but this month we will be releasing a very special bottle from Cabal. This is not the exact bottle, but it's going to look like a bigger version of that. It is a single barrel añejo that's aged in Willet barrels, Kentucky bourbon Willet barrels, and that will be available for an additional purchase, but it's going to be members only to get that bottle. And I believe it's going to be $135 a bottle for that. Really great añejo. And we're excited to release that. So that should be coming out hopefully in the next week or two, which will be available for anybody that wants to purchase that in June. And then obviously you still get your monthly bag. That will be next month. We're going to be doing G4. We'll be featuring their Blanco and their Reposado. So you actually get two bottles next month. Which is awesome. So lots of tequila for our members, and we're excited just to keep growing the club and expanding on it. So um, we have like I said before, we have two great prizes to give away tonight for the best questions, so get those in. The first place prize, we're going to be giving away a just both these bottles are distillery releases only, so you would only be able to get these in Mexico otherwise. Again, another great perk of being in the club is we give you a lot of great prizes on these calls to give away of exclusive, kind of harder to find tequilas. So both prizes tonight are going to be distillery release only. One is a beaded bottle of El Tequileno Añejo. When I say beaded bottle, like the bottle's covered with these awesome beads, and it's really cool. And then second place is also a beaded bottle, distillery release only, and that's going to be a bottle of El Tequileno Platinum, which we'll have to ask our guest about because I didn't get any more information on exactly what type of tequila that is, but uh, we will get into that. So I would love to introduce Tony Sayas. Tony is the master distiller and third generation steward of El Tequileno. Tony has a very rich background and family history that we're excited to learn all about. So, Tony, welcome to the call, to the La Popular Agave Club call, and we're honored to have you here.
Hey, hello. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Like I said, I'm Tony Salles, Master Distiller of El Tequileño, third generation, and I'm very honored to join you guys in this transmission.
Awesome. So, Tony, can you know, tell us a little bit of background? I think you're the grandson of Don Jorge Sayas Cuervo, the founder of El Tequileno and La Guarena Distillery. Can you just tell us the history of the brand and how it started and kind of your family background?
So yeah, like you said, my grandfather was Jorge Salles Cuervo. So yes, we're related to the Cuervo family. My grandfather actually was the grand nephew of Jose Cuervo. So we've been related to tequila since ever. My grandfather began making tequila from 1941 all the way to 1959. 1958, sorry. All that from 1941 to 1958, all that tequila was produced only for Cuervo, for Casa Cuervo. Then 1958, he was approached by the manager, general manager of Cuervo that time, who told him, Don Jorge, this is the last year we're gonna make tequila for you. So he had a year to start taking his new project. The good or the bad thing is that the manager of Cuervo that time happened to be also my grandfather's father-in-law. So imagine your father-in-law telling you you're out of a job, but you have to find something quickly to do because you're married and you got kids. Happen to be my daughter and my grandkids. So that's why the 1st of January he launched his own brand, El Tequileño. What does El Tequileño mean? El Tequileño means somebody from the town of Tequila. So it was very we were very lucky to have that name because we were immediately backed up by tons of people that really know about tequila, but we also could have lots of critics if we didn't do a product that was good enough to represent the people of tequila. So since 1959 we started making our own tequila, which is el tequileño. uh, my grandfather launched it and then he kept on doing it. In the early 1970s my father joined the company, and he started taking care of the distillery. Then he took care of the bottling plant, and I was able to join him in 2005. That's where I started to work with the company, and we've been working together. My father, it's one of the six Gran Tequileros. It's a prize they give in the industry, uh, that only very few people can get that price, and they have to be at least 40 years in the industry and be somebody representative of the industry. And well, you can see, I was able to have some of the best teachers in the industry. My grandfather and my father who taught me not only how to make tequila, but how to respect tequila and how to be proud of what we're doing and make it with love and with the quality that it has to be a great tequila.
Awesome. And what year did you say the brand launched in?
1959.
1959. And then how long has it been available in the States for in the US?
We had like a minor launch back in probably like 2006, 2010, but it wasn't that big. And then 2017, we got a big change in the company. We got some investors from Canadian investors that helped us and came into the company to help us and be able to sell the product in the United States and lots of other places in the world. Right now we're in over 45 countries. So we actually like started launching the relaunch or the initial launch because we weren't that significant at that point was in 2018.
So growing up kind of surrounded by this culture of making tequila in Jalisco, like what are some of your earliest memories about just tequila in general, or growing up at part of that culture?
Well, I usually, whenever I was in vacations or a holiday that I could go, school holiday that I could go with my father to Tequila, I would take the opportunity and I would go and watch how tequila was made. So I've been going to the distillery since I was a little kid, 2, 3 years old, and trying to. I liked it the way it worked, how the machinery worked, how the agave was grinded and milled to extract the juices, and that I love the most. I love to see the fermentation, and as I grew older and began to understand more things, I got more interested in distillation. But it was a process that I was able to be part of since I was a kid.
Awesome. And your background combines engineering and distillation. Um, was that kind of, I mean, was it always the plan to go into the family business? And how does the technical mindset of your engineering background kind of blend in with the artistry of blending and making like the final product? Because there's so much technical side of it, but also it's a lot of art behind it as well.
Well, yeah, actually, it wasn't. It wasn't the plan, but it kind of was, because my father was in charge of the distillery, so I was probably one of the grandsons of my father, of my grandfather, that was present in the distillery most of the times. So I was really interested. My father was very passionate in teaching me how everything was done. So he probably didn't have in mind, but also he did, kind of both things. So I'm an engineer, I'm an MBA also. So I was getting ready to do like any type of work. But when the opportunity came and I had the opportunity to manage the distillery, I loved it. There were several things that I was taught in college of how to run things, but when I actually was able to put my hands in it, it felt really good. And those things, the artistry and the feeling, you learn that as time goes by. I've been able to face lots of problems that teach you that you cannot only, it's not a mechanical thing, even though it's a product that has been a process and everything. You still have to have some touch to know when you can move things around or when you shouldn't, and give it the tequila a little bit more time to do its own work, or when you should act. Sometimes it's, yeah, it's kind of a feeling like, there are simple things of technological or chemical ways to fix things, but then that's when flavor changes and the whole spirit of tequila changes. Sometimes you just gotta let tequila be, and it'll start to come around and looking and giving you what you're looking for. So those are the nice things that I've learned about tequila.
How would you say that the brand has changed since 19? Obviously, it's probably changed a lot. Like under your leadership and in your era, like what do you feel is like the most significant change from when your grandfather was running things?
Okay, so when my grandfather was around, he only had two specific presentation: the Blanco Mixto and the Reposado 100% Agave. Those were the only two products that were available that he was interested in selling. Then, as when he passed away, my father took over and he decided to bring some more products into the market, and as I got into production, I've been able to get more products into. So one of the major changes is that we went from a two expression brands to almost 13, 14 expressions, and now we
Oh
got
wow.
yes, we got single barrels, and we got different things that we like to experiment in doing, different aging mostly. But the only thing that I was taught and that I've learned and that I know is that we cannot change the way we make tequila, even though we've increased our production by 200%. uh, we don't change the way we do it. There was a certain way that my grandfather did it, and certain pinpoints that we have, like the agave has to come from the highlands at a certain age. We use the same yeast. We use copper pot stills, open fermentation tanks. Those things that are extremely important in our process. We decided not to change. So yes, we've increased the production a lot, but without messing around with our core product, with our product. And yeah, there's been lots of changes, mainly in the outside of the bottle. The new bottle, the 1959 mold that we have, yes, it changed from the other ones, but we have never changed the inside of the product. That the quality, and the flavor or profile of the product, that hasn't been changed.
Uh, and is all the tequila made with an autoclave? Do you guys use high pressure
Yes,
autoclave for all of
low
it?
low pressure.
Low pressure. Okay.
Yes.
And how long has that been the way you guys have made tequila since 1959, or did that change at some point?
I'm assuming it changed. Yeah, I know it changed probably early 60s that we started using it. Well, maybe since 1950s that we started using the autoclave. It was my grandfather thought that was the best way to do it. He said he got the idea because my great grandfather, my grandfather's father, was from the States, from Texas, and he was a trained engineer that brought one that worked for the company that brought railroads to Mexico. And when he left back to the United States, he told my grandfather there were some train carts laying around in some place that my grandfather decided to take them, and he claimed to say he said that he turned those into autoclaves. So they're not quite like professional autoclaves; they're kind of like more crafty autoclaves. They have some flaws. They don't cook as perfect as they should, but it's that imperfection that has made it the perfection in the flavor in a product.
Awesome. Um, so let's the distillery, the nom that that the tequila is made is La Guarena Distillery. Can you talk to me about kind of where that's at in Mexico, and what the distillery has the production always happened? It's always happened there, right?
Yes. Okay. So yeah, the distillery is called La Guarreña. At some point, we have another distillery right across the street that we turned into a compost plant. But we used to use it at some point. Then my grandfather decided to move everything back to La Guarreña. Like for example, the one that is across the street that is right now it's our compost used to be mainly for distilling, but then he decided to bring back everything and put it back into La Guarreña. We've been doing that. We've been using that since 1940s. I know of when my grandfather started. That's where he started using it in 1941. That's what he used for making tequila. But then we've been able to increase production there with that, but moving a little bit around stuff, adding fermentation tanks, and the distillery have suffered two major uh, renovations. We probably had at one point about 12, 13 fermentation tanks. Then we went back to four, and now we're at 21. We have the same space for the distillation. We use the same water, which is very important. Sorry, I didn't mention we're located in the town of Tequila. Uh, we're located well where most distilleries are, right between. So you can imagine we're like 500 yards from, more or less, like 200 yards from Fortaleza, right next door to Orendain, to Arete. We're like in between all those distilleries, and that's where we're located. We're right next to the river, which is one of the most important things. The water that we use that passes like a little river goes through, and that's where we're located. It's been like that all the time. And like I said, we changed mainly in the amount of production that we had so far.
Awesome. So you had mentioned that the all your agave is grown. It's Highland agave, correct? Los Altos.
Yes,
Um,
it's Highland agave. Yeah, not because the agave from the valley, even though we are located in the valley, not because the agave from the valley is bad. It's just different. You'll get from the highlands, you'll get agave that it's a bit more floral and frutal. When and the agave flavor you get from the valley, it has more of a herbal flavor. What is this? Because the 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 valley, it's a volcanic area. There used to be a volcano. Well, there still is, but it's not active anymore, and that gives you more of a herbal flavor.
So you said the Highland agave, it has more of a fruit characteristic, overall influence. Is that and you said like what attributes Highland agave with more fruity floral characteristics versus I know you said the lowland is volcanic soil and you get more mineral herbaceous qualities out of it. What is what is to attribute to the fruity and floral characteristic for a Highland grown agave?
It's the minerals and like the terroir, the minerals in that area, the type of land that we have over there, the climate, it all adds up to give you that type of flavor.
Got it. Is it typically warmer in the highlands than it
No,
is in the
no,
lowlands?
way colder, way
Way colder.
colder. Yeah, like for example, the tequila should be between maybe 5 or 6 degrees Celsius higher, more warmer than Guadalajara, and the highlands probably like 5 degrees even colder than Guadalajara. So it could be a difference almost of 10 degrees Celsius.
And does it take longer for the agave plant to mature in
Huh.
that colder climate, or does that not have an effect on it?
No, no, it doesn't have an effect. The problem is the logistically wise is that's the main problem because to get agave from the valley, from Tequila Valley, it will probably take an hour to get the agave there. To get a load of agave from the highlands can go from 6 to 8, 10 hours of a truck drive. So that's the main problem, the distance that will probably cost more to get there, but then it gives you a different flavor.
Awesome. You guys source your water from a, a volcanic area as well. It's volcanic spring water from Volcan de Tequila, correct? Can you talk to me a little bit about how the water has an influence on the final product based off of it coming from being volcanic spring water?
Yeah, the volcanic spring water plays a really important part because it adds flavor to the product. It has lots of different minerals that will add flavor. An example would be like pizza. You know, they say that pizza in Texas is not as good as the pizza from New York, like the bread. Water plays a very important part in the whole process, and it's become quite a thing. And nowadays, uh, unfortunately, water is becoming a more important issue in the world because it's getting harder to. Well, we're starting to get less water all over the place. Fortunately, we got a permit, government permit that we renew every 10 years, in which right now that source of water that we're using can only be used by 5 distilleries that are close by. Fortunately enough, I'm the guy that runs the water association. I'm the president, so I'm the guy who takes care of the water, makes sure that it's used properly. And yeah, it does influence. I'm going to say like the microorganisms that are part are that make part of the water also influence in the fermentation and will also give us part of the flavor.
Awesome. And then kind of one of the last factors of the tequila is obviously the fermentation process. And El Tequileño, you guys do all open air fermentation. Can you talk to us about why open air fermentation versus fermenting in a like a closed stainless steel system?
Okay, we use open fermentation, but they're clay tanks that we covered with fiberglass. First of all, why do we use that material? Because it holds heat a little bit better than stainless steel. Like it will take about 40 hours to really cool down. So that keeps the temperature for the next load of juices that come by. It will help the yeast work better. We use our own yeast. That's also very important. We've kept the same strain of yeast for years and years and years. We even have a strain of yeast registered and saved in a lab in the United States just in case something ever happens to that strain of yeast. Plus, the open fermentation, even and we don't control temperature. We just set it and we can check it, but we don't control it and make sure that the temperature it will go from I know it in Celsius, so it's like 27 degrees Celsius all the way to 41, 42 degrees Celsius. That's how much it can increase in temperature. Uh, but it's also open because right next to our distillery we got a nice place that is full of mango trees. Those mango trees, what do they have? They have fruit. In the morning the mango trees are full with fruit flies that are in the fruit, in the mangoes. And in the afternoon, evening, when we open the autoclaves, you could see a bunch of fruit flies flying into the autoclave, into our yeast or into our fermentation tanks, and they just come and add a little bit more flavor. So that it also helps us because even though we inoculate with our own yeast, we also uh, depend a little bit more in the environment that will help us and give more fruit of flavor to our product.
Awesome. Yeah, even this particular tequila has a really nice ripe mango quality to it. So that terroir is definitely having a huge influence on the final product. Um, so getting into, this particular pick that we did, this was a repo, but
Hmm.
we selected it at 11 months. So it's um, just on the cusp of becoming an añejo tequila. So you're going to get a lot of more rich barrel characteristics. Do you have the barrel that, or if you don't, it's fine. I'm just curious. Do you have the particular one that we selected or no?
It was barrel 67.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we still have it in the distillery. Uh, the flavors and aromas were great. It was an ex American oak ex bourbon barrel, so you get a little bit more vanilla, very fresh flavors that which are very characteristic of this American oak ex bourbon. That's like you could say more like typical tequila flavors, but each barrel, when you're doing a single barrel, each barrel will give you a very unique flavor. There's some characteristics that are common from each barrel to each barrel, from barrel to barrel, but each barrel will give you an expression and some uniqueness that once you taste it, you won't be able to taste the same thing in the same barrel.
Yeah. And how long have you guys been doing single barrels with El Tequileno?
Not very long. We started probably in 2025. We tried to do it probably we did a test run in 2020 maybe, but we were just growing our barrel inventory, so it was very hard. We had to take a decision between single barrel or añejo, or even one of our expression which includes añejo. So we had to prioritize, and we started with our reposado that has añejo. Then we did our añejo, and once we grew, because we only had like 60 barrels, so we had barely any añejos, and 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 now we have over 600 barrels, which is great. And now we're able to choose. Like if we like a specific barrel, we can choose to either leave it for a single barrel, use it for our añejo or even our extra añejo. Like about a month ago, we there's a group of us, five of us that get together, and it's a fun gathering because we get to taste all the barrels that are over a year old. This
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this month ago we tasted over 200 different barrels, and we got to categorize them. If we're gonna leave them for single barrels, use them as a extra añejo or añejo. Maybe we decide to one that we see some that has some potential, leave a little bit more for the extra añejos. If some of the barrels are not giving what we think, so we get to change it to a better barrel, and that's how we work. And now we got the time and we got the options of choosing those barrels if we want to use them or what we're going to do, and that's what has given us better quality. That's why we decided it was time for us to to share some of that good tequila and quality tequila in single barrel projects.
Awesome. Well, I've already been taking a couple sips, so uh, if you're joining us live, you want to share your tasting notes. Everyone, all of our members get a card every month that shows them tasting notes, and they get a cocktail recipe, and they also get to see kind of or learn more about the distillery. So all our members have that. I have those tasting notes in front of me. I mean, uh, these are my tasting notes based off of the when I selected the barrel. So on the nose, I get honey, grapefruit,
Yes.
um, clove, vanilla, a little bit of lemon zest, and then on the palate, I get like that. It's like a caramelized mango, like an overly ripe mango. Um, you get caramel, a little bit of the black pepper mid palate from the agave, and then finish it off. I get like grapefruit and oak on the tail end, um, but it's like it's a very rich mouthfeel for a reposado. Obviously, being the extended age at 11 months, just on the cusp of becoming an añejo, so it's like you almost get the best of both worlds. You get
Yeah.
the great agave character, but with the mango and the grapefruit and the black pepper, but then you get all these wonderful barrel characteristics with the caramel and vanilla and the clove and these baking spices. So I think I love this pick. I've liked all our picks, but this is definitely one of my favorites that we've done in the club so far. So I'm excited for our members to have it. Anything else you want to add about this particular barrel or the barrel select reposado in general?
Uh, this one I liked a lot when I tasted it, and I sent those samples. Like you said, you've been mentioning a lot of citrus and mango flavors, and that's exactly what we're looking for. We cannot control it, but we know we're eventually going to get it because of the agave and where we're located. But yeah, it's an excellent flavor. Normally, we don't do our reposados in barrels. This is a special occasion just for single barrels, and we were able to catch it, just in time before it became an añejo. So that's therefore the color, because it normally reposados are our reposados are much lighter in color. So that's the main thing. It was a great flavor, a great product that I enjoy, and when I tasted it, I was very very surprised.
Are there specific, when you said you have this kind of panel that you put together, you guys get together and taste all these barrels and identify, is it a single barrel? Is it an añejo? Should we put this towards extra añejo? For when you're looking for this a reposado, a single barrel reposado, are there particular tasting notes that stand out to you that you actually seek out, or is it kind of just like you let the barrel do the talking? Or I mean, I guess what are your favorite tasting notes that you look for in a great reposado, a
Well,
barrel reposado?
well, there's three types of mainly there's three types. The main types of barrels that we use for right that we are using right now, and the three types of barrels that we are using are American oak, ex bourbon, which you get every time you use that, you'll get a very similar. You feel it right now. It's a fresh flavor at the end. But then we use other two types of barrels: American oak, ex Chardonnay, and French oak, ex Chardonnay. From American oak, it's a little bit more neutral flavor, with a very lactic flavor, which it's hard to explain, but it's really nice and smooth. Uh, but also, when I get a French oak, I've learned to like French oak a lot. But it's a whole different experience. Like with the American oak, like this ones, you get like a experience where you taste it, and you can like keep on partying and get a little bit more hyped up. The French oak will give you notes that we know we're gonna take like more of caramel, chocolate. So it's more like for a relaxed environment. And this one, I think I could keep on drinking more and more. The French oak, it's more like for drinking one and two. Maybe if you're in the woods in a calmer environment, just to relax. This one you can drink it to relax, but also to party a bit more, if you know what I mean. So from each barrel we get a specific. We know we're gonna get those specific flavors. Not exactly the same in each one, but we know what we can expect from each barrel.
Yeah. Well, I'm in love with the one we picked, but you guys make phenomenal tequila, and I really encourage, if you like this, please go out and explore the whole portfolio of El Tequileño. They have amazing expressions, and we love this one, and we're very happy with it. So thank you for allowing us to pick that. Um, moving in toward, there's a lot of discussion in the tequila world regarding additives. Can you kind of maybe just give us your take on the current state of that conversation? If you do you think there should be more transparency? I know I don't want you to get in trouble, but
No, obviously, the additive free whole discussion has become quite a thing. Why? Because the CRT forbid us to announce it in the as a thing for the tequila world.
yeah,
But two, I talked to them, and even though some people don't like them, some people like them. I think they're a great asset for the industry, at least in my side, because they're part of a way of proving that tequila is legit, and it comes with certain uh, qualifications, certifications that the governments all over the world require. But when you come to additives, I think when the with additive world whole movement began, it was a great thing, because yeah, people should be allowed to know what they're drinking, so that's really important. But two, then I think the whole movement got a little bit out of hand, and we started to seeing it as if you use additives, it's bad, and if you don't, if you don't, it's good. It's not that we don't use additives. I've been learning more about them. I was a bit of ashamed when they told me how things work, because I never used them before. But 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 it's something that it's legal to do for those who use it. If you want to use them, there's nothing wrong with me. We don't personally, we don't use them. I'm not into that thing, but I don't think there's nothing wrong as long as you inform the market about it, you know. But it shouldn't be a thing if it's additive bad, additive free good. I don't know. And there's other things like people don't take in consideration because they only give you certain additives. And as I've been researching, uh, number one additive that you add to your tequila it's water. When you dilute, because all the tequila in our distillery comes at 50 ABV, and you bring it down to 40, it believe me, depending on the type of water that you use, you can change the flavor uh, totally. Like the type of water that you use can really influence in the flavor of your product. So you gotta be careful with what type of water because it'll give you a different flavor. Obviously, wood could be considered also an additive because I just told you the different type of flavor that I can get from type of wood. Sometimes if I'm looking for a really sweet product, I know I can put it give it a like a finish in the French oak, and I'll get a sweeter product.
Yeah.
Is that an additive? Yes, it's a natural additive, but it is. So I think it was when it was created, it was very well made, but then it got a little bit out of hand, and that's what I didn't like because we I think that there should be always be a head that we follow, like the CRT, but those guys probably didn't take in consideration extremely good uh, observations and recommendations, so they decided to go their own way, and the movement got just out of hand that they shouldn't have gone that way. But I think as an idea, the additive free was a good thing, although I don't think it's very well managed anymore.
So everyone is so hyper focused on this whole additive free thing these days, and it's such a huge topic. What's one technical detail about tequila, whether the production of tequila, that you wish more people paid attention to?
Oh, people like when people come to the distillery, they come and they see everything, and sometimes they don't actually get the whole idea. I can tell you that the three main processes: the milling, people just see how they get squished, and but they don't pay attention to how it's cooked, how it's the type of extraction process, because it'd be taona, mills, or diffuser, or but one of the most important before after the like distilling is very important. But fermentation, if you don't have a well done fermentation, a proper yeast, your flavor can change dramatically, and that's one of the for me one of the most important part. Fortunately, unfortunately, we don't have much of a saying in there because it's a natural chemical reaction. Yes, you can influence it. We don't, but you can influence it. But if we don't get a proper fermentation, the end product of us could be not as expected.
Got it. No, makes sense for sure. All right, we're gonna get into some questions from our audience. So we're going to talk. We're putting our this playlist together. Something we like to do. Where I'm a big music guy. I like to listen to music and have a sip of a great tequila. So we're building this playlist together. Tony, we asked you to choose a few songs that kind of best represented El Tequileño, or the reposado we're tasting tonight. Um, you chose Has- Hasta la Raz by Natalia Lafourcade, and To My Love by Bomba Estéreo, and Feel It Still by Portugal the Man. I'll be honest with you, I've only heard the Portugal the Man song, but can you tell me kind of why you chose those three songs, and what how they feel kind of tie in with your tequila?
No, it's just for this tequila, it's an experience. So I thought those could be easily. It's a nice, easy going tequila. So those songs are like nice and easy. So you could. It's like a relaxing after a hard day of work. You can hear them and just relax and enjoy the moment.
I love it. I love relaxing and enjoying the moment. That's my
Yeah.
favorite. Awesome. We're going to dive into some questions from our audience here. So, oh, Ken, not a question from the audience, but Ken said he wanted me to ask you how many barrel picks you do in the U.S. per year.
I'm gonna say probably uh, like 40, 50. The
Oh
most.
wow!
Yeah, it's probably
So
yeah. We got 25 a year of añejo. No, 35. and 10 reposados.
All right. So one of 10 reposados released in the US this year is what our members are drinking. That's awesome. Well, thank you again for letting us do this with you. We appreciate it. Um, so I'm going to ask some questions from the audience. Laura is asking, Laura G, Claremont members asking, what's been your favorite memory of being part of the tequila making process that you'll remember forever?
Uh, each part is it's great. I enjoy. Well, since I was a kid, I love going and seeing how the that was the thing I liked the most. The extraction method, the mills and how they worked. I like to mess up. I really got to mess things up because every now and then I would stick my hand when I shouldn't, get my hands full of grease and play around with the machinery where I shouldn't. But it was a fun part when I was a kid. But as I grew up, understanding and tasting the product and enjoying it, I think that's the feeling of a job well done when you go and taste it and you like it and you see people faces when they try it and they smile when they it's a genuine smile that they like the product and they don't need to chase it with a soda or something because they enjoy that. That's one of the best memories that you have when we're working in the tequila business.
Awesome. Uh, Christian from our Claremont locations asking if you could only drink one expression of El Tequileño for the rest of your life, which one would it be and why?
If If I could only drink one expression, probably the one I drink the most mostly is the Blanco Platinum 100% Agave. It's one of my favorites. Normally, I only drink blancos, or most of the times I only drink blancos. Why? Because I'm based in the distillery. I work there every day. I go there every day. And what's my job? Part of my job, like I say, my healthy breakfast is a shot of tequila right out of the still in the morning, one at noon and one at 3 or 4 before I go home. I'm used to drinking only blanco tequila, could be either mixto or 100%. I like the 100% a bit more because it's smoother and a bit sweeter. So that would be my choice if I would only have to drink that one. That's the one that I drink the most.
Awesome. Um, I got a couple more questions here. Braulio, I don't know what location he's from, but Braulio is asking. He wants to know more about the how the fruit flies help the fermentation process. Can you elaborate more on
Well,
that? He said, how does the fruit flies help with the fermentation?
you gotta have in mind that the yeast is the one that creates the fermentation. The yeast is it's a microorganism. It's like a bacteria that is gonna start eating up all the sugars and turning them into alcohol. So when the fruit flies lie falling to in the fermentation tanks, they bring also other microorganisms that are gonna work along with our yeast. They'll probably die before our yeast, but they bring some flavors and a bit more fruit of flavors into it that help and improve the flavor of our tequila.
Awesome. A couple more questions. We got another one from Christian. Do you use a Tahona or a roller mill for extraction? And is there a reason why you do one versus the other?
We only used a roller mill. The reason because my grandfather started using it. Obviously, the Taona it's more crafty if you want to say it that way. It's less efficient, but we've only made a roller mill because that's the way that's the format that goes more with the tequileño profile. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it better or worse? I don't think so. I don't know what's the real reason. The real reason is that we use it because it goes better with our profile, kind of like the autoclaves. Same, or copper pot stills. They're the ones that give us that profile to our product. That it's the best profile for el tequileño.
Cool. Awesome. All right. I think that is all we have for this evening. So we will pick a couple prizes tonight. So I'm going to pick the question that I want to pick is from Christian about the what is your favorite expression of El Tequileno that you could drink for the rest of your life. And then I'll do Braulio's question about the fruit flies. Did you have one question that you liked one more than the other, so we can determine who gets our first place and who gets the second place?
Oh, I think it's interesting. People, like I said, one of my favorite parts is the fermentation, so I'll go with the fruit flies.
Awesome, perfect. So Braulio, we got a bottle of the El Tequileno, the beaded bottle of the Añejo for you. And then CeeLo, Christian, we got a bottle of the El Tequileno Platinum, the beaded bottle as well, distillery releases only. So we will get those sent to your home location, which is Claremont, for you to pick up. And Tony, thank you very much for your time tonight. It was great learning more about the history of El Tequileno and your family history and all the contributions that you've made to the tequila industry. And we're super happy with this pick, and can't thank you enough. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
All right. All right, everyone. Till next month. And keep an eye out for that Cabal pick that's going to be coming out soon. And hopefully we see you.